And then I told her, I go, you won't believe what I just did to their tower.
Yeah, it's like drinking and throwing up. I'm never drinking again. 1 week later, I'm at the bar.
That's Amazon Flex. I'm going to get it done on time this time, and I'm going to be right on target. Then you get stuck in the warehouse behind some bimbo who's like sorting every single package.
All right, we got to keep moving here. Holy cow!
Yeah,
bimbo. First ride was the coach.
Yeah.
Ben, turn your volume down.
It was such a good story.
And Ben ruined it.
Sorry.
Now he's a red face.
Warned people on the page if they had a unique enough name, like Evelyn and Walker. Bad news. Really bad news.
Evelyn Walker, forget it.
And there's an Oliver on Watson. Trouble. Sal, he'll harass you a bit, but I don't know. You can earn a little extra money.
Did she just go Jersey? Because that's what it kind of sounded like.
I think
she's
might
a welder
have done
from
that.
Jersey. That was a great way to start the show.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us at the GR Rideshare Podcast live stream. We are excited to be here tonight. And sorry about that funny. We'll blame Gabe. He's new.
The new guy.
The new guy.
It's all right. I'll take all the blame.
All
and
right.
I can't hear, so I didn't hear anything.
You can't hear what?
I can't hear anything.
Oh, that's true. Well, we have headphones on. I was hearing it through the mic somehow, but who cares? All right. It has been a good couple of weeks. Let me get my screen up there. And Nick was going to be here tonight, but can't. And we got producer Ben.
Hello.
And then we have Gabe.
Hello.
Hey, Tony. Thanks for chiming in.
All right, Tony. So, Gabe, tell me your story, why you're a rideshare driver, because you are a full-time rideshare driver. And, you know, why do you like it, and why do you choose to do that instead of like a regular job? Well, not that it's not a regular job. You know what I mean. Why do you choose the gig economy? There we go.
I like meeting people. I actually started it doing 10 to 15 hours a week.
Okay.
My best friend had somebody he lost due to a drunk driver.
Oh, okay.
And when he passed away, I struggled really hard with trying to find something to kind of remember him by.
Yeah.
And he used to go down to the courthouse and talk to drivers that had DUIs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? If there's one more rider or driver out there, that's one more person that doesn't have to drive drunk.
Yeah.
So that's why I started doing it at night.
Okay.
Loved it so much, watched it for a year, and then jumped into it last July. Watched the flow of people, that requested rides.
Okay. Oh, so you weren't even driving?
I was driving just 10, 15
hours
a week.
Okay.
So I'd watch, surges, see what was busier, and then was like, hey, let me take a stab at it.
Okay.
So,
cool. And you've been driving for how long?
May was 2 years.
2 years.
So
you got a gazillion rides, I think.
6,000, almost 700 on Uber, and 1,600 on Lyft.
Wow.
Impressive.
And I'm going to ask the question, which do you like better?
I like Lyft better.
Really?
Everyone does.
Just as a company.
Except Ben.
I don't.
Ben doesn't. Well, he makes less on Lyft, which is usually because he's grandfathered in. You're probably not grandfathered in at the 20%, right? You're at 28.
I make less on Lyft.
Okay.
If I could, but I'm busier on Uber.
Correct.
So if I could be busier on Lyft, I would totally do that more.
Yeah, no, I'm busier I'm the same as you, but I make more on Lyft than I do on Uber.
Right.
I make 20% on Lyft and 28 on Uber, so it's kind of like I wish Lyft was busier.
Right.
I don't know. I like Lyft too. They're not drama filled like Uber. There's a story about Uber
on the media all the time.
Yeah, once a week.
Oh, for sure.
That's what keeps us in business.
Right.
So, all right, cool. Any good stories? I know you told me a few before the podcast.
That's the one question everybody's always asked.
I can hear it again.
It's me.
Thanks, Ben.
Way to go, producer Ben.
I've had friends get in a fist fight in the back.
Yeah.
That was pretty entertaining. I've had a girl try and give her boyfriend something in the back seat.
Yeah.
And my dad voice comes out. I'm pretty patient, and I can tolerate a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's just certain things I'm not going to tolerate.
Well, that's disgusting.
I've had people that forget that they're in an Uber. I've been asked how we met. And I'm like, what do you mean, how did we meet? You ordered an Uber?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. and then they pass back out.
Yeah.
I've had people.
That's a little. Hey, back to that. That's a little weird. Like, it was a hookup at the bar.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah. And the worst part is they're sitting in the passenger seat up front.
Yeah.
And you can tell somebody's staring at you.
Yeah.
So I look over and this guy's just like,
oh, hey, baby.
I'm like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And he's like, how do we meet? I'm like, you ordered an Uber?
Right.
Oh, this isn't a drug deal?
Oh.
No,
it's not.
He's like, okay. Do you want it to be one? No.
Nope. I'm good.
He's like, I need food. Okay. Took him to McDonald's. Worst thing ever.
Yeah.
He ordered so much food. He probably weighed $1.40.
Really?
And he ordered 2 20-piece nuggets.
Oh, boy.
I will never forget this. 2 20-piece nuggets, 3 McDoubles, 3 large fries, a large Dr. Pepper, and a sundae. And then was eating it and said, I need more fries. And I said,
Nope.
No.
I said,
You need to go home and a glass of water.
yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't remember you ordered 3 large fries? He's like, are you calling me fat? I'm like, no, I'm not calling you fat. Like, let's get you home.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so this week, or the last 2 weeks, I've been doing Grubhub versus Uber Eats, and it's been an interesting experience. Just like I never had done it, but I knew on Uber Eats you just don't make the money. I mean, I'm making $3-4, and rarely people tip.
I'm surprised you're still doing it. That's dedication.
I know. I am not going out Friday. I just told Ben earlier that I just need a break. It's been a long week, but
For sure.
but the Grubhub with the Uber Eats is not bad because you can run Uber Eats or Grubhub in the background, and then Uber Eats keeps me busy. But Grubhub, I'm getting them screwed up. But Grubhub gives me more money.
So is Grubhub still like an app like Uber Eats, and it just pops up the request?
Yes.
Okay.
You get a cowbell. That's a cowbell, like a dinner bell. But it's gone well. I mean, I've made okay money. Saturdays have been busier. But man, if you want to fill in your time, I mean, you're not making a ton, but it's better than sitting around.
Right.
And I know I had given you a bag. I don't know if you've tested the waters with it yet.
I haven't yet, because I go on the group and I see the little post where people are like, look at this drop off, and you're like, McDonald's, and then it's right around the corner to somebody's house, and I'm just like,
Right. So here's the thing. You don't do McDonald's.
Okay.
And I've done it twice. The first night I did it, I was 30 minutes, and I made $4.82
yeah.
for 30 minutes. And the drop-off was like 0.7 of a mile. And just like regular rides, you make more money the further you drive. So if it's a 7/10, of course you don't know until you pick up the food, and you're like, oh.
Because you don't get paid for that whole time you're waiting.
You do. You get the poverty 10 cents a minute or whatever. But I've learned not to take McDonald's runs.
It was Taco Bell too, you mentioned, right?
I did a Taco Bell on Grubhub. Now
Did they tip on Taco Bell?
So that's the interesting thing about Grubhub too, is you see what you're going to make before you take the run.
Yeah.
So that order they did tip because it was a $12. I was going to make $12 on that.
Okay.
So Grubhub is just so much better. Like
Right.
right away, like when it pops up, how much you're going to make
Before you accept
it.
Gotcha.
So it's a game changer, but it's not as busy as Uber Eats.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but yeah, on that Taco Bell one, even though I waited 20 minutes, I made 12. So, I mean,
Kind of worth it.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, but on Uber Eats, I would never do that. So I don't know if Grubhub did the Taco Bell thing because Uber Eats is scooping up all the other restaurants. I'm not sure because Grubhub normally doesn't do any fast food. It's like they do a lot at that Indian restaurant on 44th and Brighton.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of it. Do you know where I'm talking about? Across from Village Inn. It used to be a diner or something, but it's Indian food now.
Oh, I thought it was a diner
yeah.
still.
And then there's Pal's on 44th and just that would be west of the Beltline, another Indian place. Do a lot of Grubhub through those. But those are the kind of restaurants that they focus on, where Uber Eats is focusing on a lot of fast food. So
Gotcha.
if you do it, just like anything else that pops up McDonald's, just cancel it.
Ignore. Do you?
So-
You don't see it's McDonald's though.
No,
during
it's
the request.
it's just like
So you just cancel.
Yeah, it's just like getting a PAX. You don't know where you're going.
Yep.
You swipe to start trip. You could be going 9/10, or you could be going, So you accept it, see that it's McDonald's. Well, I guess it's not exactly like passengers because you kind of know where the pickup is.
Yeah, it gives you. Yeah.
But
If you know the area and you know what's right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but my recommendation is if you want to stay busy, turn deliveries on. You're going to stay busy. Now, granted, you will lose. You're going to miss some Uber X rides, but
sure.
I mean, I see people posting all the time. Been online for three hours, got one ride.
Well, no, I think
How is that
they're doing
possible?
something wrong.
Well, I mean, there are markets that are probably pretty scarce
Right.
as far as people goes.
But even in Grand Rapids, there's times where, I live on the north side of town, and I turn on the queue, and I see 15 to 20 people sitting in the airport queue.
Yeah.
And I get 3 rides in an hour while
Right.
people are still sitting there.
because they just want airport. And I'm kind of like that too. And I've burned myself on that. I've had terrible nights at the airport because I waited.
Yeah.
I waited and waited. But I've gotten to the point where if I get an XL, I'll take it. But just because I know that's going to pay more than an X. But
Right.
yeah. So I had a fun guy, kind of like the drunk guy you talk about. And I'm still working on that video. It's been crazy behind him getting that done. But just a guy completely hammered eating chips, and some people that might have saw the live stream, and I was commenting on that. And so as I was going on, I was like kind of feeling bad for him. I'm like, man, this guy's going to walk into the street, kind of like what you said. Like, I mean, so finally I rolled the window down. I'm like, all right, dude, what's up? And phone was dead, just like you. Maybe it was the same guy.
No,
That'd be
it was.
something.
Oh, because you saw that video, yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. I was laughing at the guy on your car.
Yeah, he was like dry humping the front of my car. I mean, it's
It almost looked like he was making out with it because of how he was.
well, I come to figure out, and later in the video, he ended up trying to get into the dumpster. I think he was trying to get in somewhere, so I think he was trying to like open my hood or something. Thinking, I mean, I don't know, but I ended up giving a ride home, and it was like a mile and a half from where the Shell was. But he said his buddies dropped him off there. Now I went into the Shell and talked to the lady in there, and she said that they kind of just ditched him.
Yeah.
I think they were sick of him or something.
I'm sure.
He was actually not that annoying. He was hilarious.
Was he
actually.
drunk
So I was
or high?
So I was thinking it might be more than that, but
Yeah.
I mean, he just smelled like booze to me.
Yeah.
After we got in the car, well, he would be all of a sudden acting really drunk, and then we'd have these conversations that were just like you and I are talking. I'm
Sure.
like, what is going on here? Like I'm
crazy.
in this weird world. So that was interesting. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was a good break from doing rideshare. And
Absolutely.
I was watching it when he was at the dumpster.
Yeah.
And he was like yelling at somebody to come open the door and
yeah,
let him in.
cuz, open the door.
Who's
He's
cuz?
like, I wait for my cousin to open the door. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
and then he said he was waiting for his mom, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take him home. If he would have said, "Yeah, I live in Rockford," I'd be like,
About that.
"Hey Ben,
Yeah.
can you come be
Yeah.
a good Samaritan like you always are?"
Right? Took me to Fenville that one time. That was something.
So did you have anything the last couple weeks?
Yeah.
Oh,
Psycho killer.
oh, or the
Or the night before.
Charlie bit my finger.
Yeah. Oh my word. I had a couple really strange rides
You
recently. Yeah, so I picked up a father, his wife, and their son who couldn't. He was like 8. It was like Sully in the back seat.
Yeah, was it like midnight or later?
It was
than that?
after midnight.
That's
so I was
crazy.
just waiting for the bar close to come about and just picking up the random rides that popped up. So I go to East Grand Rapids. Very nice house. I picked up from this house before. It's like a party house, kind of like socialite type people. So I picked them up. It takes the mom forever to get in the car. Like, we're talking 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, I'm just going to wait. It's not surging anywhere. This dad's got his kid.
So the dad and the kid were already in the car,
They
and
were
you
in
were
the
waiting
car.
on the mom.
We're just waiting for mom. It's so stereotypical.
Oh, you're sexist.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop that right there. I'm sure I'll have some comments to catch up on
Right.
after that. But no, we waited for a good 10, 15 minutes. Finally, mom comes out, and we take off. And next thing you know, dad, who's in the back seat, reclines over and puts his head on his son's lap, who is also in the back seat.
Which, side note, that's weird regardless of what you've been
Yeah.
drinking or anything.
No
like,
kidding.
I mean, I can see the kid doing it to his dad,
Yeah, but not the other way around.
right.
or a husband on a,
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
wife and
yeah.
husband.
So they're having conversation as a family, and it's pretty hilarious because they're pretending to not be drunk.
The mom didn't seem that bad. I saw a little snippet of that.
Yeah, she was okay.
Okay.
But the dad was gone.
Yeah.
And somehow in their conversation, the son's fingers ended up in his dad's mouth.
Oh, that's gross on so many levels.
And then his dad bit him. All of a sudden the kid goes, "Ow, Dad, you bit me." And I'm like, I'm trying to keep a straight face. Like, what is going on in the back seat? So, yeah, that was crazy.
That's so bizarre. I just used your crutch word,
Yes.
bizarre.
There's no other word for it.
No, that is a perfect word for that scenario.
Yeah. And then Saturday night, I had a guy I drove from O'Toole's all the way down to Byron Center on like a 2.8 Surge.
Yeah, baby.
And it was XL, but he was the only one in the car.
I love when that happens.
It's like, sweet.
It's my favorite.
So he gets in and he's like, "Dude, I need to hear Psycho Killer by the Talking Heads."
Okay.
I'm like, "Oh, okay." So we listened to that song over and over.
So now, technical question. How did you do that? Do you have like Pandora on your
Spotify
in your car?
Yeah, I mean, it's just Bluetooth.
Oh, from your phone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't have a fancy car like that, so.
know. And yet I'm not select. Dumb.
Bitter.
Yeah.
Hashtag bitter.
Yep. So we get to his house. This is granted 20 minutes later.
Right.
And he's not getting out of the car. He's just sitting there listening to the song on repeat and dancing and swaying and singing horribly. Just having the time of his life. It's like, I'm just going to let him go. It's surging. This is a pretty easy way to end my night. So finally he did get out of the car after I was like, "All right, dude, we've listened to the song like 3 or 4 times now."
Oh, so you like put it on repeat?
Yeah, I did. I was having fun.
Yeah, you're contributing to it.
He was hysterical, and then he's like, "Dude, I don't know how to tip." I'm like, "Okay, well, just give me your phone."
Yeah.
So I ended the ride for him, and then
put in 50.00.
Yep. I said, "Well, how much do you want to tip?" He goes, $5. So I put it in and got my $5 tip on top.
No,
of
but you
surge.
added a 0, right?
Yeah, 550 something.
No,
like that.
you dummy.
Just kidding.
That's cool.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was an interesting couple of weeks. So I just that drunk guy it just cracks me up. So I haven't seen that video of the Psycho Killer one, so I'm looking forward to that
That'll
one.
be fun to edit.
All right. Well, we got a couple of different things we're going to touch on. Rideshare in the news. Ben has a funny picture he's going to post in the thing. And if you've seen it, great. If not, then he's going to post it in the chat. It is, and I already can't find it. Oh, I'm in the podcast chat. So we'll go over here. And super prepared. It's one of those meme generators, which the guy is funny, but it's got a guy up on the top that's like honking his horn and screaming, and it says under 100 rides. Move, idiots! I have to pick up a passenger. That's the newbie rookie driver, and the guy below is like over 1,000 rides. I'm gonna take a nap. Rider can wait, and that is so true. That is so true. Although I kind of feel when the guy in the top, when you're on a surge, I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get to them, I'm
still like that over 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want him to cancel because the quicker I get there, I'm going to get paid on that ride. But Ben's posting that in the chat. What else we got? Oh, well, our poll results. So last week we, I already had this up. I don't know why I pulled it up again, but we had a poll question. What would you do? I had a ride with 2 stops. The first stop is the bank. The second stop is the drop-off. During the first stop, the PAX is in the back for 10 minutes, and I get a ride. Oh, bank. Sorry. He's in the bank for 10 minutes. I get a 45-minute request ride with a 1.2 Surge XL ride. Remember, I've already been waiting for 10 minutes. What do? Wait for the PAX in the bank or end the ride and pick up the XL? There was some pretty good chatter on this, some comment, but the poll results is 78% said end ride, pick up XL, 22% wait for PAX in the bank. Ben, what would you do?
I would try to post this picture like you asked me to do.
Oh, you should have been done by now.
Well, there's no way to comment with a picture.
There isn't?
Nope.
Oh, well, that's my fault. That's crazy.
I was going to try to put a link.
Since
up,
when do you not be able to comment with a picture?
Not on a live stream.
Oh, thanks, Facebook. Well, we'll post it at some point. What about you, Gabe?
I would sit there and wait.
You would?
I do. I'm a firm believer that if you give good, you get good back in return.
Right.
There's a lot of times I don't have requests, for stops built in, and I stop. I
don't mind doing that, but I mean, at one point are you getting taken advantage of?
I think at like 15 minutes,
Whoa.
I would probably send a message.
Okay.
But I've never had a bad experience where I wasn't like, hey, here, thanks for waiting. And they've tipped me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like morally, I don't feel right. I might say, hey, how much longer if I got one?
Right.
I don't think that I could, or I might accept it, but I guess it's when you put it in your queue though, right?
Well, yeah, so it's in the queue, and some people did talk about that you could text them.
Right, and just say, hey, I'm finishing up.
Yeah.
As soon as I drop off, I'm on
Right.
my way. Because
Yeah.
I've done that before where I'm like, hey, they want to stop at the gas station real quick.
Hey, guys, thanks for listening to the show. We would really love if you could review us on iTunes. It would really help us boost our rankings in the search area. The things that we need you to do is we need you to subscribe. We need you to leave a star review and a text review. If you do all three of those things, that would be awesome, and it would really help us out. Thanks.
It's going to be a few minutes. I can cancel it so you're not charged if it's over the 2 minutes, because I don't want them to get charged because of something.
Well, they won't get charged.
If it's after 2 minutes.
Well, if you get it in your queue, they won't get charged.
They don't.
No.
If it's after 2 minutes.
No, because
cancel?
you're not there yet waiting for them.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're just going to hang not the bank person, the XL that's waiting for you.
Right.
They're not going to get charged.
But don't they get charged if they cancel after 2 minutes?
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Right.
For them to cancel.
Right. Because that's what I've done.
I thought you had to be closer for that, but I couldn't be.
No. Once the rule is once they submit the request,
they have 2
2 minutes to cancel it before they get charged the cancellation fee.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So I'll shoot them a message and say, hey, look, at the gas station, we're finishing up.
Yeah.
Do you want to wait for me? If not, I can cancel it so you're not charged and shoot it over to.
Right.
Because when you cancel it and say do not charge rider, it shoots to another driver.
Okay.
And it will continue to shoot as long as you do that.
And
not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess whatever motivates you, because like you say, morally it bothers you, but if you're really broke,
right?
I mean, you know what I mean? It's kind of different motivation. And I think so. I think it was the same on Facebook. I think I posted in here. It was 94% end the ride and pick up the XL, and 6% wait for packs in the bank. So I don't know. I actually learned something from this, because I'm like, oh yeah, I should just text the XL and say I'm on my way. Right. And then what I would immediately do is text the guy in the bank, say, hey, I gotta go. Do you want me to continue waiting, or do you want me to just, do you want to get another Uber? And hopefully they would say, be nice and say, oh yeah, I'm sorry, like just go ahead and end the ride. I'm going to be another 10 minutes. But
you know what though? I think after doing this over 2 years, is they're smart and they see it, because when it pops up in Bings, I've had people go, oh, you got another request.
Yes.
Yep.
And I'll say, yeah, I do after you. And they're like, oh, I was going to ask you to stop, but I see you already have something else lined up.
You're right. People are catching on to that a
Right.
little bit. But now that they've changed the sound, the request sound.
It's such a peaceful sound.
You know what? At first, I didn't like
it
it, because I was like, this is like the staple sound. Like when I hear this, I'm like, I got to ride.
Action.
Right. But I actually like the new one. I agree with you. It's much more pleasant. They did a good job with that.
It was good.
Because it's not as piercing as...
I have read so many people that just hate the new app. And I'm like, I love it.
So far, I haven't had any issues with it.
I don't mind it at all. I actually prefer it.
Yeah.
It just works better.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about it is you can't see your acceptance rate, which I know it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah. So, all right, next up, we actually worked on a new logo, and I sent you that to Ben, but you can't post the picture.
Sure can't.
But we got a logo for the podcast, and I'll show it to you since you haven't seen it, Gabe. soon as I can get my bearings here. But yeah, we decided we're not separating it from the from regular GR Rideshare Adventures, but we're just trying to, this is the podcast. We're going to make some shirts for people and stuff like that. So just still GR Rideshare Adventures, but we wanted to have just a logo for the podcast, and we'll end up sharing that too at some point. So
apparently you can see your cancellation rate on the Uber partner dashboard.
Cancellation or you can't see your cancellation on there either?
I don't think so.
On the new app?
I think so.
Oh.
But you can see it on the partner website. That's what Thomas Mulkey said.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thanks for that.
So you have to log into a web browser? Is that how it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
That's a pain.
And there's some chatter that your acceptance rate does matter for promos. So, but we don't
What
have
are promos?
I know. We don't have those here in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, in the Grand Rapids market, for people listening, we do get Lyft ones every once in a while.
Yes.
They've launched a few of those, which is not awesome. I mean, they're like, oh, you get $12 if you do 20 rides, so it's not life-changing. But everyone talks about the Uber Quests. I'm like, what's that?
We don't.
I think
have
that's
those.
I think that's based on the market representative. I think Grand Rapids needs somebody who actually takes the time to look at it. Because if you remember, 2 years ago when you started Lyft, they would have it's going to be busier at this time and this time and this time. And if you looked at it, it was always when there was concerts or something going on. And I think the ball has just been dropped when it comes to the Grand Rapids market.
Yeah.
There's no hey, it's going to be 10% more for rides, or hey, we're expecting a large amount of requests.
Right.
You don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that has to do with the representative in the area.
Yeah.
Because there has to be somebody that looks at the area.
Yeah.
To see
well,
what's
just
going
like
on.
Uber hasn't updated what was that little feedback we used to get on the old app? It was last time it was updated was April. It was,
Yeah.
Is it kind of what Lyft sends you once a week, your comments and is that what it was? Your rider feedback or something to that effect?
Uber doesn't do that. It's great. I remember 3 years ago when I started driving for Uber, they did have people that sent regular updates out about where to drive, about the market, and things like that.
They
But
don't do
within
that
the
anymore.
last 2 years, it's dried up. There's no real correspondence. From
I wonder if it just means, because I feel like a lot of people in Grand Rapids, they're hardworking, so there's a lot of drivers because they want to make extra money, and I feel like there's a ton of drivers out there that say they don't need to do that anymore. Why not put your resources into another city that's struggling and you're trying to boost and talk about events and everything like that? So I'm getting some static on the line. I think it's Gabe's phone.
Airplane.
It's Gabe's phone. Sorry about that. I was hearing it and it was driving me bonkers. So where were we? Oh yeah, the logo. So yeah, we're not separating, but we definitely want to, make the podcast a little bit separate, I guess. I don't know how to explain that, but without sounding like an idiot. All right, we're going to jump actually into news. Let's talk about this Uber debacle. Someone made
Instant Pay.
The instapay. Somebody made a good comment, and today after I posted it about the live stream, he said, "Do you know our terms of service says they're not guaranteed to give you the instapay?" I'm like, I never even.
It's a convenience.
It's a convenience, and I probably should have known that. Of course, they're not going to guarantee your money that second, but man, it was rough.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people needed money, and it was clear who lived day to day, not just paycheck to paycheck, but day to day,
if not hour to hour. I mean, people who can't fill up their gas tank.
Oh, I mean, I felt bad for some people.
And you know what, though, I totally get it. As somebody who does it full time, especially, this has opened the door for a lot of single moms.
Yes.
Who needs it to pay, for daycare.
Right.
Or they're like, hey, on Friday, I'm going to pay you, instead of waiting until the following week. So, who do you know that's going to watch your kids for a whole week, and then you're going to pay them the following middle of the week?
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing, and I'll disagree with you a little bit. I mean, everyone else gets paid once. Well, I get paid once every 2 weeks.
Right.
So you just have to live your life that way. You have to budget. Right. But here's the problem: when Uber offers it, and then it's kind of like, hey, this is awesome, and then all of a sudden they take it away. I don't think that's fair. I'm not saying they did it on purpose, but I mean, hopefully people have learned from this and they prepare a little bit for it.
Yeah.
But I just feel like you kind of got to know what you're getting into. Like, hey, this could go away. Just like the gig economy. And that's why I always tell people diversify. Go with Lyft. Do Grubhub. Do other things so that if Uber takes a dump, you got
options.
You got options.
Yeah.
So, but I did feel for some people. I do understand that it's got to be rough. And they didn't really come out with an explanation, did they?
No.
Oh, wait, but they gave us an awesome bonus this whole week. You can cash out for free. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah, free 50 cents. I think it's because they get charged a fee when they transfer over.
Yeah.
And
Uber does?
Yeah,
For the processing.
Yeah. And that's why they charge that. And
No, I'm fine with that. That's at 50 cents
still,
seems
it's like
cheap.
a slap in the face.
Well, right,
for the inconvenience that some people have had of overdrafts. I was reading on there, like people are like, yeah, I've got 2 things pending, and
Yeah, they're like, I need to make $150 tonight. Oh, I made $150. Guess what? You're not going to cash out,
Right.
so you're going to bounce stuff. And
Yep. It's a tough place to be.
It is a tough place to be, and
I think we've all been there.
For sure.
And yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. I actually love driving so much. I'm jealous that you do it full time because I love doing it. I love the flexibility of it. Just be like, yeah, I'm going to go pound 8 hours out, and then tomorrow I'm only going to do 4 because I got to go to my kids' thing or I got an appointment or something like that. The flexibility is awesome.
Well, I like that because, I have my daughter at home, and I can pretty much drive all night if I want, come home, sleep for a couple hours, get up, do stuff with her throughout the day, take a nap, and then go back out and drive.
Yeah.
Or, where else can you do that?
It's great. I just think 2 things I want to take from this, especially from new drivers. 1, you will get paid.
Yep.
You will get paid. I promise.
It's not going to happen when you want it to,
no.
but you're going to get
paid. And this is not the first time. It's not the first time that trips have processed like that. It is the first time that instapay has gone down, as far as I can remember. But there's times throughout the year where all of a sudden it'll be 6 hours and your trips finally catch up by the end of the night.
Yeah.
But it's never gone like days.
I think it was it Chris Stapleton concert?
Okay,
when it was super busy. It was like one of the busiest nights. It was Chris Stapleton and then Regina Spektor.
Okay.
And you couldn't even end trips. Like
really?
Their whole system was so... it was crashing. People were having a hard time requesting rides. People were having a hard time ending the rides. Like, I'd sit there and end, and it would just spin.
So you'd have to force close it?
Yeah, force close it, pull it back up, and it still says I'm on the trip.
Yeah.
So then I'd drive a little bit.
Away from the center.
Right. And I would tell them, too. I caught on. I'm like, hey, look, I got to drive like a couple blocks to get this to go off.
The only time that's happened to me is I actually drove to Ann Arbor for a Michigan game. That was crazy. You got anywhere near the stadium at the start of the game, forget about it. I had to do the same thing. I had to drive a little further away to end it. I left. I'm like, I don't know this city. At least at Grand Rapids, I can kind of get my way around without GPS. But I was freaking out. I'm like, nope, I'm done.
Where am I?
I think that happened too at Coast Guard.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because people were doing cash rides.
That's right.
Because
the whole thing crashed.
Yeah, nobody could order one. Drivers couldn't
It's just too much cell traffic. It's actually probably not Uber's fault. It's just everyone's on their phone and the cell towers can't handle it.
Yeah.
And that's only one time a year that happens.
Right.
So they're not going to upgrade the infrastructure.
Right. Unfortunately. And the second thing is, and we'll talk about it later, keep some cash in your car or a gift card, like $50, and just don't touch it. Just like, this is for if the S hits the fan money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I need gas. We had one guy, he had driven to Traverse City. I saw him on the group. We talked about it like a couple months ago. And it wouldn't process because guess what? It was over $100.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any money to get home.
That's right.
Yeah, and another driver helped him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember what the follow-up was, but they send him some money?
They sent him some money, and then he ended up,
That's right.
He ended up calling Uber, and they processed it, and he paid him back when he got back.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, I didn't ever see the follow-up on that, but same thing. If 50's too much, your car can get filled up for 25, at least you can get one full tank of gas so you can get back. But I was like, oh, man, crazy. So, yeah, those are the 2 things I want to take from that. 50 cent promo. What are they going to do? Give us $50 each? No, they're not going to. I don't know. I don't know what I expected from them, but I hope more than hey, free instapay for the week. How about free instapay for the rest of the year?
Seriously, because that was kind of a nightmare for some people.
Right. Gosh, there was so much chatter on it.
When you saw, like, afterwards, people were like, we should cash out after every ride. Well, you can't. I think they cap it at 5 times within 24 hours.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
See, 50 cents is a deal. I'm sure they're getting a deal, whoever they're processing it through, but it's not cheap to process a card. I mean, me working for a small business, I mean, we like checks because it saves us money when people pay for stuff. When they pay with a card, it's a cut like 2-3% per time.
Yeah,
so
ridiculous.
So them only charging us 50 cents, I don't think is that bad. Although I don't know if I'd do it if it was $1. I don't know. $1 seems so much more than 50 cents.
Yeah. It adds up. Depending
It
on how
does.
much you do it. So.
I typically do it after I'm done driving for the weekend. I just like doop, 50 cents on each app. And although 50 cents on Uber if you're not putting it on their card, right?
Yeah,
See, I put it on.
if you use the Go card.
Yeah, I put it on my debit card, so it is 50 cents. Does Lyft have a? They don't have a card or anything.
They do not. And fun fact, you cannot link your Uber card to your Lyft account for instant pay.
Of course not.
I just thought that was awesome. I tried.
That is interesting.
It won't let you. Like it sees that it's an Uber issued card.
Yeah, people do ask, do you get in trouble for driving for both? And I'm like, no. But that is funny that they do that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You tried that. That's hilarious. So yeah, that was just interesting. I hope everyone survived, and man, there was a lot of chatter on that. That's all I saw.
You saw how it dropped too. Like I got super busy on Uber.
Oh yeah, that's the good point.
Yeah.
People weren't driving. They were like, I'm not driving for Uber. Like the airport was dead.
Yeah,
in Grand Rapids
was dead the next morning, and I literally I had 5 airport rides the next morning because nobody was there.
Yeah.
I pulled up and I'm like, it's like a ghost town at Wendy's. Like,
yeah,
what is going
that
on?
never happens.
I guess I would chalk it up to either you need the money so you're going on Lyft, or B, you're like afraid you're not going to get paid from Uber, so you're just not going to drive. But you will get paid, I promise. They're not going to. Yeah, I forgot how busy it was.
Yeah.
Although it didn't reflect on the bar close that weekend, though.
No.
Those
No,
were
it did not.
terrible.
It was awful.
Both nights. So, next up, woman jumps from a moving car. Why I'm opening these again? I always do that. It was from a fake Uber driver. This is happening more and more. And then there is a video. Of course, there's an ad. This is happening more and more about these fake things. And, the bottom line is, like, you need to check the plate, check the driver,
Always
check the car.
the
And I
plate.
get it. A lot of girls, and there's my sexist comment,
We all
don't
get one, so
don't know cars. My wife does not know cars. But you can still check the plate.
Right.
So I did not preview this video, so I have no idea.
People use ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft. Well, tonight, an important warning after a harrowing experience for one woman in Las Vegas, an experience that ultimately ended with her jumping out of a car.
wow.
A terrifying ordeal for a Las Vegas woman this summer. A man posing as an Uber driver kidnapped her. Back in July, Elizabeth Suarez tried to find a ride home from the Las Vegas Strip. She called an Uber and got into a vehicle that she says matched the description on her app. Moments later, she got a call from her real Uber driver.
My heart sank because I knew I was in the wrong car. I have no idea who this guy is. I'm in trouble.
Suarez asked the driver to pull over.
Ignores me and keeps driving.
Suarez shot and then posted this video on Snapchat to warn her friends she was in trouble.
And I thought, well, if he's going to kidnap me, rape, kill me.
ABC affiliate KTNV obtained this video. Elizabeth says it shows the driver pulling into a Las Vegas shopping center.
I take a side profile picture of him. My flash goes off, startles him, and that's when he starts cursing. Give me your wallet, give me your phone, give me everything you have.
Suarez kept her phone but threw her wallet his way, but the driver did not stop, so she acted on instinct and jumped from
How
the
did they
moving
get that
car.
on security
An
camera?
Uber spokesperson
That's
tells
crazy.
us the safety benefits that are built into the Uber app, like the GPS tracking of your trip, only work if you are in the car
Yeah,
assigned
no
to
duh.
you through the app. If someone is in the wrong car, they won't know who their driver is, and neither will Uber. Suarez wants her experience to be a lesson for others.
I'm here, and I'm here to tell my story and doing it to warn other girls.
So here's a lesson for you. Don't offer your name to the driver. I do that almost every time. Hi, I'm Joe. No, instead, you're there and you ask him or her, who are you here to pick up?
Nope.
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 Wait to hear your name. That way you know you've got the right car.
Nope.
Shut up, idiot.
Like, you got to remember, when they request a ride, it pops up our picture. They
Yeah.
see our car, they see our picture. They see our license plate.
Right.
You know, I had one the other night, and she was like, no, who are you here to pick up? And I'm like, no, that's not how this
we
works.
argued back. Yeah, I've had that too.
Because I've had people that are so intoxicated, you pull up and you're like, you know, they're like, who are you here to pick up? I'm like, John. Yeah, that's me. And then they're like, oh, my phone died. I need to go here instead. No, that's not how it works.
No.
No, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we go round and round in the little GR ride chair, and like Jesper says, is your name blah blah blah, or you go, hi, or how does he do it? Does he give his name or does he ask for their name?
Jesper, how do you do it?
Yeah, either way, but he thinks it's more friendly, which it is, and then he says, well, if they say they want to change the direction, I ask them to do it on the phone. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So you've caught them, right? They're stealing it, but now they're in your car. So now you have that awkward moment of like, hey, I know this isn't your Uber. Get out of my car.
Right. Yeah.
So why not nip it before they get in the car?
Like, if I'm picking up an area that's not busy and I see somebody and they hold their phone up, you know, obviously I know they're looking for me.
Correct.
You know, I will greet them by their name.
Yeah.
But when it comes to changing addresses, I do not.
Right.
I have them pull it up.
And I think it's different, like you said. If you're picking them up at a home, chances are it's them.
Right.
If it's 2 a.m. on Ionia Street or the bar closed, chances
not
are
so much.
people could be scamming for rides. But, I mean, I feel bad for her, but what is the coincidence that car exactly matched her Uber driver? I mean, okay, there's tons of cars that are similar, but it just... I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like she says that, but it wasn't true. I think she was just too drunk. And I'm not blaming her by any means, but the one thing, just check the plate. The plate is plates are specific for that car. It's the only plate in the entire world for that car. If it does not say that plate, it's not the car.
Because I've had people where I'm on Ionia and I see them walk to the back.
Very
and they
rare,
look,
though.
And they're like, that's our Uber.
Yeah,
they run around.
but like what? Once a week, it
Yeah.
seems like.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I will say girls do it more than guys.
Check the plate.
Check the plate.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Right.
Ugh, I feel bad for her. But there was another story. I don't have the link for it, but we'll probably talk about it later. Is something about what was that other one that Nick posted in there, or you posted, or something?
So there's now a black market
Oh,
for Uber
that's it.
driver accounts.
Yes.
So if you wanted to make money, you could put your driver account up on the black market, or your identity could be stolen by somebody and they can open an account in your name and then sell it on the black market.
Right.
So people with, colorful backgrounds, we'll say, that probably wouldn't be able to pass a background check, they can now just go and buy access to
Well,
an
I think
Uber
it's all
account.
about identity theft. It really, I mean, Lyft got thrown in there, but it's just another thing for identity theft. So,
Sure.
I mean, there's nothing Lyft can do. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if they stole your social security number, they've done all the background things. What is Lyft or Uber supposed to do? They can't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if the person's legit. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting how that works out. This is kind of funny. This is ticks me off. Uber Cash. So Uber is getting into everything. They got the scooters. They got the Uber airplane. This is Uber Cash. It's just like the Cash App. So they want to create an ecosystem. So you never, like Facebook. Facebook wants to keep you in Facebook. Now you can pay people on Facebook.
Right.
The whole kind of thing. They want to keep you in the ecosystem. Now they're going to have Uber Cash. So just like the Cash App or Venmo or anything, you can pay somebody through Uber.
You know what, though? That's a good idea because, how many college rides do you do where they're like, are you going to
Venmo me the money.
Right.
That's true. It's not a bad idea, but Lyft. Lyft is like, they just do rideshare. Like, they're not doing all... that's why I like Lyft so much. Uber's just like, oh, we're going to do this. It's like a squirrel. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. It's like Ben.
Yep. Are you calling me a squirrel?
Yep. So look for that. Uber Cash. Idiots. Let's see. This one's a local one. Driving shuttles around Grand Rapids. Self-driving shuttles. They say next year, but I don't really think that is doable. What do you guys think?
You never know.
It's going to cost almost $1 million.
Seriously.
Grand Rapids paying $250,000. I mean, it's a good idea, I guess, but they're already going to have an attendant on there, so they're already paying somebody. I mean, why not just have that person drive? I mean, it is, I guess.
Because it's a novel concept.
Or it's safer. I mean, that's the whole point of self-driving, whatever. Yeah, self-driving.
Yeah, but look at
autonomous driving.
Yeah.
Look at the self-driving car that hit somebody.
I know. Well, that lady should have stopped. Do you remember?
She was not very attentive.
She was watching, what was it, America's Got Talent? No.
The Voice.
Did you know that? She was watching The Voice when that homeless lady walked in front of her, and then she didn't react quick enough to slam on the brakes. So,
That
yeah.
was human error.
You gotta look at, though, Grand Rapids. How many times do people walk in front of you?
I know.
Yeah,
They have to
it's
master that.
crazy.
Well, like when Pokemon Go came out, like I had people that were just in their phone,
Yeah,
and I'm
in the
like
middle of
slamming
the road.
on my brakes, or like sometimes
remember
people park in places you're not supposed to, and they just dip out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cars.
And what about the rideshare drivers that just stop and park in the middle of the road?
That never happens.
No, of course
I only
not.
saw like 2 over the weekend. Yeah, I don't know.
There's too many variables they're going to have to work around.
Right. I don't know. It seems so far away. And maybe because, we can look at the news and everything and they,
Sure.
It gets clicks. They talk about it. But, I mean, Uber's stopped, right? They've stopped the program after that whole.
I believe they did.
We have no fact checks tonight. Do you realize that?
Oh, boy.
We're like 45 minutes in with no fact checks.
Okay, well, there's one.
What's this one? Oh yeah, this doesn't surprise me. This is taxis are more likely to rip you off on the way to the airport. Duh. Yeah, I mean taxis aren't. I guess some of them are probably GPS now, but they say that taxis take longer detours, about 7% more than the Uber drivers.
I think that's across the board.
Yeah.
Like any ride.
What do you mean? Oh, not
Taxi
just
drivers
airport.
are just going to take a weird, inefficient route.
Yeah, because I think they get paid per like 1/8 of a mile. The clock, their meter.
Really?
Yeah, their meter.
Yeah, I had
Goes.
I picked up a tour manager for an artist at the intersection, and he had taken a taxi from the hotel to the intersection.
Like a downtown hotel?
Yeah, no, it was off of 131 at 28th Street. I think it was the
Days in.
yeah, one of those back
Okay.
there. I think it was the Best Western. So I took the freeway because it's obviously the fastest way. But we get there, and he's like, "Whoa, we're here already?" It's like, "Yeah, this is it. It's your hotel, right?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, it is, but you have to understand the taxi ride was about 3 times as long."
You're kidding me.
So because he was from out of town, the taxi driver totally took advantage of him, picked him up at the hotel, and took all these weird back roads to the intersection.
That's so shady.
Very shady.
I have a question about that. You were talking about getting on the highway. Do you ever have it where, Waze, do you use Waze for GPS?
I did. I use Google.
Okay.
Just because on my Android, I don't have to flip screens.
Okay.
It's synced pretty good where I hit navigate, it pops up on its own. When I get closer, it flips back to the Uber screen.
It does?
On its own.
Really?
Yeah, it flips back there. And I just hit
On your
complete.
tablet?
Yeah. Yep. And it could be
That's-
that it's an Android thing.
It must be, because I
I've
never
just
even...
been using navigate. Now that I think back to when I was using the apps, it did the same thing for me.
Yeah, but he's not using the Uber. He's using
Right.
Google.
That's what I'm saying. I was using Google Maps, I believe, and after the ride, when I arrived at the destination, it would just flip back.
Yeah.
That's a game changer, because if that actually does that, I will go to Google. I mean, I love Waze, but...
I don't think it does it though for iPhones.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
We
I
suck.
had Cece try it.
Oh.
And it would not link up right, and she had to switch back and forth between screens.
Yeah.
And I had an iPhone. I stopped using my iPhone because of that. I went to Android.
Okay.
Because it's more seamless.
That's
So-
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be so sweet. I mean, yeah, it's one tap, but it's one less thing you have to do and
Right.
focus
Exactly.
on flipping over to end the ride.
And then, not this last app update, but a couple before it, I think, Uber introduced the in-app GPS. I just been using that.
Yeah.
Ever since it came out. It works just fine for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent of Waze, but what I was going to ask is on my Waze setting, I have take the highway because it says, do you want to go the shortest distance or the fastest? I think the setting is, and I put fastest. So when you're doing like 3-mile rides and it has you get on the highway, do you do that or do you just like kind of take the back road till it reroutes you?
I take the back road, or if I know there's a quicker way. Instead of waiting at, like, downtown, if you pick up at the woods,
yeah,
and it'll have you get on the highway to go to Pearl, to go,
yes,
or there's different ways I've seen that.
Yes.
Or I have people that say, I don't know why it has you take the highway.
Right. I'm just asking, I do the same thing. If I kind of look ahead, and I'm like, okay, it's having me get off in Pearl. I'm not getting on the highway for a hot second. Right. I will if I'm going to the west side and it's going to get me off at Lane, and I'm down by Charlie's Crab or whatever, I will definitely do the highway. But it is always weird when you're not paying attention. You do get on the highway, you're like, oh great, now we're off in like 5/10 of a mile. I look like an idiot.
And that's the one thing I was telling you earlier. I always ask. Like, I have a tablet so they can
even the drunks.
Yeah. I
wow.
do. I'll say, and it's the same thing. I greet them, say, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Say, okay, we're going here. They confirm it. I'm like, sweet. Is there a specific route you like to take?
Man.
Wow.
But,
he's good. No wonder your rating's so high.
Yeah, what is your rating? We forgot to ask.
4.96. And I have...
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, I have a lot of rides.
And I would say, but you do all the airport rides. No, you don't.
I don't.
And so that is a crazy good rating.
And I do a lot of nighttime.
Yeah.
A lot of the bar crowd.
Clearly, you're doing something right.
I have 6,672 rides.
Well, his car is spotless for starters.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Do you drive an XL or an X?
An X.
An X, okay.
Yeah. I always get told two things. My car is clean and it smells good as soon as they open the door.
What do you use for an air freshener?
The Little Tree.
Really?
You do?
Yeah.
No.
Peachy Peach.
Peachy Peach.
Everybody loves it, and they're like, it's nostalgic. It reminds me of peach rings.
Oh.
And they love it. Like, I've had girlfriends that bump their boyfriends, and they're like, hey, you need to go get some of this. And I've never had. Yeah, Peachy Peach.
No way.
That's awesome. Yeah, I use the cotton linen from Febreze. It's just a little plug-in. It smells like clean laundry. Mm-hmm. So it's so crazy. I've used that for so long. I'll put a new one in. I can't smell it. I don't know if that's good or bad, but people are like, oh, it smells great here. Can't smell it.
Yeah. Well,
I'm so used to it.
Same thing with Little Trees. They last for how long?
Yeah.
I will have the same one up for 3 weeks because I'm just lazy.
I do like once a month. I change it out.
And they still say they can smell it.
Right.
No way.
But you can't smell it.
I can.
You can?
If I haven't been in my car like overnight and I open my door. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The first hit is fine when you get in, but after that, I'm like, I can't smell it.
I get nose blind to it. Like, my passengers will be like, your car smells so good.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just saying. I can't smell it.
Yeah.
What do you use?
I'm with Cece. I like the Midnight, or no, it's Peter, sorry. Peter, the Midnight Storm Febreze.
Okay.
That's really nice. Or the, there's a couple different scents. But
yeah, I'm a fan of the Febreze. So, all right, good talk. All right, tip time. So, one of the ones we want to talk about is, keep some cash in your car. And we kind of went over that a little bit. Just so in an emergency you have, if things hit the fan again, which they probably will. It'll happen again.
Yeah.
We don't know when. The other thing is this is for the XL people. Jesper has a lot of trouble with getting XL requests with 7 people. And he can only take 6. Well, it's only required that he takes 6. Yes. I can fit 7 plus me, so 8. So I don't ever have a problem. But I recommend, and I recommended to him too, is text your passenger when you get an XL or call them and say, hey, how many do you have before you even get there? Because what happened over the weekend is he got there. They had 7. He said, hey, I can only take 6. They said, okay. Apparently we're grumpy about it. One started him, gave him a penny tip.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just got the penny tip, okay, whatever, you're cool. But the 1 star, I mean, that sucks.
Yeah.
All for him trying to do the right thing to say, hey, I can't take,
It's
that's
to follow the law.
Right.
I mean, come on.
And we did reach out to GRPD, and we're going to write an article about it. We want to know exactly what the ticket is, who's responsible, etc. So we can, and not that we would rattle that off to a drunk person, but just so for drivers know, because guess what? The reason they're asking, because drivers do it.
Yeah.
Other drivers do it.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Even on X.
Yes.
I have 5 people, and they'll argue with me, and they're like, well, we'll just fit in. I'm like, no.
You won't.
No.
Right.
I'm like, if I get pulled over, I get a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not going to pay it.
And then
you're going to jump out of the car.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.
And one thing that Nick has said before, I've seen it in his videos, is he'll tell the passengers, if I take more than the allotted amount, then I risk deactivation.
Yeah.
There's probably some truth to that.
Yeah, and maybe we focus more on that part instead of the law, because everyone's like, yeah, screw the law. But if you say, I could lose my job, maybe that would be more.
Yeah.
But I just think you should start texting and calling people. Why not just avoid the awkwardness, And Jesper's been burned a bunch of times on that. And he's super awesome and friendly, and he's just like, yeah, I'll take. And he's even taken a part of the group, gone back, picked up the other part, and brought them to where they needed to go.
I'm at the point now where I'm kind of a dick about it. Like, if they have too many and they're still insisting, I'll just be like, you know what? I just canceled the ride. Get out of my car.
Yeah.
They'll be like, 1 star, 1 star. I'm like, you can't rate me. Get out of my car.
You've said to that, you can't rate me?
And not in those words, but I've said, no, that's not possible.
I want video on that.
That's the thing. That was when my video crapped out. I swear there were 9 little teeny college girls trying to pile into my car. 9.
What I typically do is it's an XL and I see a massive amount of people, I start counting, but then when the first one gets in, I say, how many people you got? And they're like, oh, we got 6. And typically it kind of, okay, we're cool. But I'm like panicking, counting. I'm like, is that one with him? I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be awkward. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to remember, they don't even care, though.
No, they don't.
St. Patrick's Day, I literally was on Oaks in Ionia, and they had the cops on horses, like, right next to my car. And they were like, we can just take 5. And I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
They're like, they don't care. And I'm like, no, literally, you cannot.
Right.
And they're like, well, just cancel. I'm like, okay. And they're like, give them a 1 star. I'm like, well, I'm thinking to myself, you can't give me a 1 star. All
right, that's going to be my new goal. If I want to cancel on somebody, they say 1 star, I'd be like, yeah, good luck, sucker. Doesn't count when you cancel. I just want to have that to say that to them. So, yeah, that's what we recommend. You can do what you want, but I think it will avoid a lot of awkward issues. Is just text and call them when you get an XL.
I think it would stop too if people stopped doing it.
Well,
I pulled up at 20 Monroe Live, literally. Lady, I see people getting in, the hatch goes up, and I see 2 climb in the trunk, and I'm just like,
we posted a video on our YouTube page. I've caught a couple people doing that, just right in front of right on Ionia, right by B-Dubs, like in that area over there. Sure enough, trunk twice. I was waiting for a PAX twice. It happened. I got it on video, and the video cycles every 5 minutes. It was in 1 5-minute clip, pulled up, trunk.
Man,
it's just like, why would you even want to do that? But you know what? You remember when you were 20, they're 21, you're just stupid. You don't care.
Yeah, it's that whole invisibility thing. You think nobody can catch me.
Right.
Invincibility.
There you go.
But it's other drivers doing it that know.
Well, it's the same with a car seat.
Right.
They take kids without car seats. I mean, I've had it, and I'm sure you have. Like, they come up with a freaking infant with no car seat. And
can I just pause for a second?
Yeah.
My mom is watching.
And you used the D word.
Hi, Mom.
Did you hear him? Did you hear that potty mouth from him?
I don't think she did. She just joined.
It is like a 15-second delay.
I know.
We actually talked about that, too, about that delay. I don't know who was I talking to about if something like really sensitive went over the air, like I would just take the plug over there and just
rip it.
Like we got a 15 seconds to get that plug undone. That's hilarious.
I didn't know my mom liked our page.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's cool, though. No, I appreciate that. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Culturally, I've done a couple of mission trips in Mexico. They don't do seatbelts and car seats in Mexico. I mean, you see an infant on a scooter with a mom, and so it's. I'm not saying it's a cultural thing here that people aren't doing it, but we're so hyper focused on safety. But you go to other countries and it's like, what's a seatbelt? What's
just
a car
like
seat?
with taxis, they don't require.
Yeah,
and that's what people always say. Well, a taxi or my last driver.
Right.
And I wish they had a spot on the app where it pops up, just saying, do you have kids?
Yeah.
Or something.
That's a good idea.
If they can have it and change it to where you can actually leave comments and tip while you're en route, why can't they have something?
Well, the problem is if they have kids that don't have a car seat, they're not going to say that.
But
they need a ride.
At least they had that warning. So when I get up there and I say, sorry, no.
That's right. Like the driver is going to cancel if you don't have car seats.
Right.
We always are afraid when we get XLs at the airport because I'm like, in several times I've had it. Nope, they didn't bring a car seat, because they got off the plane. But I get it. It's a pain. But when we went to Florida a couple years ago, we brought booster seats for the kids. We just checked them. It's super easy peasy because I knew once we got the rental car, when we got to Florida, I was going to have to put them in a booster seat. So I don't know. It all boils down to drivers not following the rules. And I try to follow the rules. So and we try to have people on the podcast that follow the rules.
Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah, exactly.
I follow the rules all the time.
Right. Well, almost all the time. We all have done a few things here and there, but it is what it is. All right, last up is, do you have something? You popped your head up like you had something.
I was just going to talk about the time that I took one more passenger than I was supposed to.
You can talk about it. I mean, we've all kind of... Have you done it? Come on.
I've done it once.
Once on all those rides?
Yep,
this was unintentional. Like, I legit did not even know they had too many people. Yeah.
Unintentional.
No, so it was at the hotel in Dudley Place right off of Michigan.
Yep.
Hampton
Inn's, that new one.
It's just an awkward, weird spot to pick up. There's not a good way to get in and out of your car there.
Well... Yeah, let's talk about that. That is the weirdest hotel setup. It is. You literally drop people. They go in through the parking garage. I mean, how not? I mean, am I wrong? Is there another entrance?
No.
Up top.
You can do it two different ways. So what I do is I go the street before and I go down and around and just pull up in front. Okay, in front of the parking garage. Or you can go in the parking garage. It will not charge you for the first 15 minutes.
Okay.
So you could go in, drop them off, put your ticket in, and drive out. It will not charge you.
My question is that the only way? Like,
yes.
That's the only access point.
It's the only.
So that's dumb. You have this, and their lobby is gorgeous because I've delivered food there. I'm like, so you're like, oh, this is our hotel. We have to go through the parking ramp. I don't know. It's odd.
It's really.
But anyways.
But you could, if you want to keep people from making that comment, you could pull in, drop them off, and drive back out. You're in there, what, a minute, 2 minutes?
Yeah, but no, my question is you're dropping him off at an elevator.
Right.
Yeah.
Normally hotels, you drop off, you open the door, and there's the lobby right there. That was my point.
I have a feeling it's going to be what's going to happen with hotels the more they build in Grand Rapids. Because of all of the spaces, if you look at them, they're all having the parking on the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess. I just wish what I would have been cool if they did that is made just a drop off at the lobby, no parking, just to drop people off. Now they got to take their bags in, they got to go. I mean, I know it's only an elevator. I don't know. To me, it's a dumb setup. So
yeah,
I'm ranting.
So anyway, as I was saying, it's hard to really even see the passengers coming out and getting in your car.
Yeah,
because it's not a good arrangement to pick up.
No.
So they're all piling in, and it's an XL ride, and so I figured it was going to be fine.
Yeah.
I take off without looking behind me. And then they started talking and chatting, and I think I hear a voice coming from the floor back there.
You're like, what's going on? Look in your mirror.
So I look back, sure enough, there's a gal sitting on the floor between the two captain's chairs. I was like, you know what? We're going about a mile from here.
Yeah.
So I'll let it go.
I mean, I would have done the same thing. I'm not going to stop, and I might lecture him on the way out, but no, I wouldn't.
I didn't bother.
I just one-star them.
They were friendly.
Yeah, the one time I did it was like when I first started.
Yeah.
But
I did get a tip from them, though.
Oh,
so
right.
I think they knew that they probably shouldn't have done that.
The couple of times I've done it, I've driven pretty far out, like way out in Ada to pick an XL up, and I'm like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And it's not the right thing, and it was one person. I mean, it's been a couple of times that I've done it, but on the reg, I do not do it. If I pick up downtown or whatever, nope, sorry, move on. So even on surge rides, I'm just like not going to do it. It's not worth it. So, All right, questions from our Facebook group. So we talked about phone issues. So I've been having issues with last week with phone. I'm going to screw this word up. Connectivity. Said it right. I'm awesome. I use Sprint. I read it first, and I'm like, I'm going to skip that. Connectivity. I use Sprint. Has anyone else had this issue? I'm at the point where I'm planning on getting another phone with a different company. What company would suggest for Grand Rapids? So we talked about that. My guess is you use Verizon.
No, I use AT&T.
Okay. Any issues?
Never had an issue.
Good. No. So Sprint is terrible in East Grand Rapids.
It is horrible.
Yep. And if it gets busy downtown, I've only Ubered with Verizon, and I've only have issues when, like at Ann Arbor, when there's a billion people on their phone. But yeah, I recommend Verizon. I know it's more expensive, but it's worth it. Jinx, buy me a Monster.
I already did.
I know. Thank you. So you don't have any issues with AT&T? When the iPhone first came out, I'm obviously I'm an iOS lover.
Snob.
Yep. Getting a new phone soon.
You gonna pay $1,000 for it?
Do you know that it's the iPhone Max, whatever the biggest one that is, in the biggest memory is $1,500.
There's no way.
No. Oh,
it's all right.
Good save.
I'm a doctor.
Yeah. Thanks, Andy. $1,500 retail. So I'm clearly not getting that one, but I don't have a problem with my iPhone 7 Plus. I cheaped out and bought the 32 gig instead of the 64. I went from a 64 down to a 32.
What do you need that many gigs for, though?
I don't know. I have a lot of podcasts, and they take up a lot of space.
So you download all the episodes?
Yeah, I download them to the phone.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. I'm on a work plan, so we only get 27 gigs for the month, and I can't be like streaming all day. And normally, if I was unlimited, I would just do that. But just 32 is not enough for me. So, anyways.
That's fair.
Yeah, I have unlimited with AT&T. It's expensive, but I don't have any issues.
Yeah. Yeah, I was getting back to my story when the iPhone first came out. I went with AT. Like I was with. This is before I started where I'm at now, but I was with Sprint. Went to AT&T, and it was just terrible. It was kind of when they first started coming on the market. So the iPhone's been out for 10, 11 years, I think. Yeah. And it was terrible, AT&T. And went to Sprint, or I got hired at my other job, and then they had Sprint, and then we finally switched to Verizon. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If you have bad phone issues, dump Sprint. I mean, I don't know how the other ones like Metro PCS, Cricket, or any of the... What are you laughing at?
I'm just having a little side conversation with Jesper.
Oh, okay.
He knows why you need all the gigs. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, let's leave it there. Let's keep it PG. But I never hear anybody have issues with that, but I know a lot of them rely on the Sprint towers.
What is it, Boost?
Yeah,
off Sprint.
Is Boost. And I think Metro PCS is,
I think
too.
It's off Sprint as well.
Yeah, maybe Sprint should stop selling their damn towers and keep their own customers, and maybe they won't have so much down issues because they have, subbing out their frickin' towers. But next one, guys. What do you do when there's double stops? In between the stop, they take over 5 minutes, and the stuff is still in their car. So I had one where, I don't know if you ever watched our video, the guy at the laundromat, or no, he had laundry in he was at the bank, but
was he closing a mortgage or what?
Yeah, I know. The joke was I thought he was robbing the bank, but he left his laundry basket in there, and he went in there, and he was in there for about 25 minutes, and I don't know. There wasn't much. I don't know. It was busy. That was Beer Fest day. I think. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Was it surging yet?
I think his ride was a surge.
Okay,
but it was low.
Worth it.
Yeah, but what do you do? I mean, when you leave.
Well, if you're CC, you just take the stuff out of your car and put it on the curb.
Right. Well, she didn't do that, did she? Or she thought about it.
She wanted to really bad.
Here's the thing: if you have an issue with it, I think you should immediately text the passenger and just say, "Hey, I gotta go," because the problem is you're going to build resentment. It sounds dumb, but if they don't come out and you're bitching to your friends and you're ticked off about it, you're going to build resentment. It's going to make you grumpy. You're going to be grumpy at the passenger. I feel like if their stuff is in there and you want to go, you text them and say, "Hey, I need to leave right now. You need to come get your stuff." I don't know. What about you?
I usually ask when they say they're going to stop.
How long it's going to be?
How long they're going to be. If they say, "Hey, I need to stop at the grocery store, run in and grab a couple things." Okay, I'm thinking 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
If they're like, "Well, I've got a lot of grocery shopping to do," I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like you have to request another one because I'm going to have rides build up.
Yeah.
And I just explained that. I'm like, there's a queue. So I'm going to get that because I don't think people really truly understand how the rides come to us.
Mm-hmm. No.
And I've had people ask me, they're like, well, you accepted this, you're 17 minutes away. I said, I did because I got the request, which means there was no one closer to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's how it works. I said,
That's
yeah,
how
it
it
pops
works.
up per driver.
Yeah.
We have 30 seconds to accept it. And if we don't, then it will try and search for
Another one.
I said, so those times where you're like, hey, I couldn't get a driver, there's probably no one close.
Or the person didn't accept it. There could have
Right.
been a driver right
Right.
next to him, but denied it, so it
Right.
went to the next closest, and then et cetera. Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot of errand runs running late at night. I mean, I won't do drive-throughs or anything. But, I guess just have a conversation before they get out,
I'm very transparent with my riders.
Yeah.
Like, we talk. And I build that customer service because a lot of them don't know.
Yeah. Clearly, you do a great job with it. Your rating that's insane.
It's really
I mean, for you driving the bar crowd every night, that's
I
insane.
get a lot of the late night hero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
had
badge.
I had one guy, he was like, not all superheroes wear capes. You're the drunk man superhero. And I'm just like, all right.
All right, I'll take that.
How do you do on tips? I mean, with a rating like that, what do your tips look like on an average night?
So last night, the night before, I had 4 rides. 3 of them tipped cash and 1 tipped on the app.
Nice.
I picked up 4 people from Stella's, and they were obviously intoxicated. And they're like, hey, can we take a detour to a liquor store? And I'm like thinking, there's no liquor store on the way.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can take you. We'll go a little out of the way. And, we pulled up, and they're like, she's like, give me all your ones, everybody. And she collected everybody.
Oh, I love when that
I was
happens.
like, here
Great.
you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You deserve more, but this is what we have.
Yeah.
And then I think I got $3 more on the app. So I got $12 off
That's
that
nice.
one ride from Stella's to Lake and Baldwin area.
Yeah.
So not that far.
No.
And people appreciate that.
I do try to go. I just can't get over your rating. I mean, we always give Nick a hard time, like, I got this good rating. I'm like, yeah, you do airport rides.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Because usually, although with the new app, I looked at it, I've got 3 3-stars, 3 2-stars, and 3 1-stars. But it's just crazy. I'm like, when did these happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would love to know what rides they were so
Right.
I can fix it.
Yeah. I are you just being a jerk? Are you trying to get a free ride or
Yeah.
what?
I think a lot of people are trying to get the free ride
Yeah.
or get the ride credits. And I
Yeah.
don't think they realize when they make a false complaint they might get a free ride, but they don't think about how it affects the driver.
That's where I feel bad for full-time drivers. Like, that's your bread and butter is Uber, and then someone says you're impaired, and so you're suspended for 24. If you do it again, you're probably gone.
Right.
Yeah.
So then again, diversify, get on Lyft, get on, you know what I mean? If that's what you're going to do. But so this one is crazy. I drove 3.5 hours to Atlanta Saturday. I'll just add, not worth my time. Not sure where to try next. Something closer than 3 hours would be great. Any input? Thanks ahead of time. By the way, I only drive for UberX.
Drove 3 hours.
3.5. This lady drove 3.5 hours to Atlanta to drive for Uber.
No
way.
What are you doing? In fact, I was surprised on the comments. They were not ripping her. Like, my first thing would have been like,
Why?
you worked at McDonald's and made more money because you're driving. So it's 7 hours round trip to drive at UberX in a city.
I could see if the market was
Insane.
crazy busy,
And you,
surged all the
or
time.
if you drove Uber Black and you're out in Vegas, and so you're going to drive 3.5 hours, maybe spend the weekend there. And okay, I can see that, but you're driving just a basic UberX, and you're going to drive 3.5 hours to a market. Man, they were nice to her. I mean, I didn't comment. I was just looking through the questions. I was like,
personally, just because I do this full time, I am very anal about checking all of the area and what's going on. I have a calendar. I screenshotted some of it.
yeah, I saw that.
That was awesome.
I go in once a month and I look at every place, DeVos Performance Hall,
Right.
The Convention Center, Pyramid Scheme, Intersection, and then I put them in my calendar, and so I can tell what is going on or what's going to bring people into town.
Right.
So I know when to drive. Because I don't want to drive, I've seen people where they're like, oh, you made, $10, you should be happy. No, my time is precious.
Right.
I don't want to sit in a car and be waiting, to get a request, just like when it's queuing at the airport. I don't want to sit there for an hour and get a ride that's straight down the street at a hotel and make $3.
Well, yeah, you can't do that.
Right.
I mean, you have to keep busy.
Right. And so that's why I drive when I know it's going to be busy.
Yes.
And I'm always checking it because I don't teach it or treat it like it's just, I made $10.
Yeah.
Like, this is my bread and butter. I treat it like it's a business. I'm an independent contractor.
As you should.
That's
and if I
awesome.
invest time in it, then I will get it back.
Right.
I do very well. There are some weeks I drive 35 hours. There are some weeks I break away. I drove 49 hours that week.
Wow, that's
But
impressive.
we were so busy on Friday
Yeah.
It's
and
true.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And it gets so hard when the requests are coming in to be like, oh, I should go home.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you experience that too. It's like that little adrenaline thing, like, oh, what would this next one be?
Yeah.
We do the same thing, and we're like,
It's
oh, I'm so tired. I need to
Like
go.
when Chris Stapleton that night was crazy, and if you drove that night, you knew. At 4 a.m, I finally called it quits, and it was still surging 3 times.
Wow.
But I couldn't do it anymore.
You're just like, I'm tired.
Right,
Speaking of that, sorry.
Yeah, Jason's like soccer coach tonight, and
Yeah,
man,
I worked hard today. Stayed at home because my daughter was sick.
yeah. And you took a nap.
I slept 7.5 hours last night. Went to work for 2 hours. Got a call that my daughter had a migraine. Came home, hung out with her. She took a nap. I took a nap
Do
too.
you know what that means?
What?
It means you're old. Showstopper.
So mean. But anyways, here's a tip: don't drive 3.5 hours to a market to drive UberX.
No
Find
kidding.
another part-time job.
Yeah.
So, honest question. This next one, honest question. What did everyone do? This one's kind of crazy. What did everyone do before Surge was a thing? I'm pretty much sure Surge was
I think
right
Surge-
out the gate.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people getting upset about the lack of Surge lately, and I'm not quite sure why. Why do you think that's how we make money? Is on the Surge.
You know what though? So I do majority of my driving's late night, early morning.
Yeah.
The long pickups. I know a lot of people don't like taking them. I take them in the morning because I will tell you what, 9 times out of 10, they appreciate me coming to get them.
Yep.
I get tipped very well for going and getting them.
Right.
And I get a little buffer on the long pickup.
Okay.
It balances out. So I
Buffer
might not-
meaning like you get a little break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one that was a long trip up. It was 16 minutes. I made $7. I made more off the long pickup fee than what I did for actually driving the person.
Yeah,
where they
Okay.
that's
need
pretty
to go.
good.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you do get appreciated more, especially early in the morning, because it probably takes a little longer to get an Uber at 5 in the morning.
Right. There's
'cause
not a lot.
There's not a lot. Do you ever look on the app and see how many drivers are out and about at that time?
Sometimes.
I'd be curious. I mean, last winter I didn't, but the winter before, on Tuesdays and Thursdays when I wasn't working, I got up and did that early morning, like 4 a.m. And it wasn't always surging, but I stayed pretty busy.
I stay steady.
Yeah.
I'm all over Grand Rapids.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're not
know,
centralized,
But I make decent money.
typically I'll throw the app on here at like 5 a.m. and within like 5 minutes I'm going to pick somebody up at like Ramblewood or those apartments to take them to work.
Yeah.
So, last question. I just thought this would end with this, and it's just like, how many of you will quit if you can only get paid once a week?
I bet you a lot of people would drop off.
Yeah,
You
I
think so?
I do.
That's crazy. Where else are you going to go where you're going to get instapay? Though that's the thing. You're going to quit because you're only getting paid once a week, so you're going to go work a factory job.
Well, and I don't think people would quit because they're mad. I think they just financially would have to.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing though. Where are you going to go that you're not going to go anywhere else?
There are services that will allow you to get your paycheck early. It's almost like
Oh,
a
are
cash
there?
advance
I
app.
saw like an app.
Not for free though.
No, that's
it's
not.
probably a
it's
high
not
interest.
50 cents either.
Yeah.
I saw an app. It was like, what is it? Where you're at the gas station, need to fill up, and they like
Oh.
show
Yeah.
the app where.
It's that one.
Do you know? I think the rideshare guy early on, before Uber and Lyft started doing the InstaPay, there was an app that
Active hours.
was that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do it on that too. So I don't know. I mean, I guess my point is you quit and then you're gonna go what? Work somewhere else? They're not gonna. I mean, I don't know. It
Yeah.
just seems like a dumb statement, and it kind of
It
just
is.
wraps it up. Of the, I hope they quit. Please, please quit.
More rides for me.
Right. So, You guys got anything else? That was intense. Well,
yeah, we had a pretty steady live stream following tonight.
Good.
So thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, I heard a few peeps from people, but
we had one hater, but he left eventually.
We had a hater?
Oh yeah, he was trolling hardcore.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't wait to look at the comments.
Yeah.
That's funny, but
it's like, but it was great because all of our fans pushed him away.
Right.
So thanks for coming to our aid.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. And I know we talk about it a lot, and the people that are listening on the live stream maybe don't subscribe to the podcast. If they could subscribe and rate us on. Now we all say iTunes. We still have not figured out how people on Android rate podcasts and how they rank. So iTunes, if you like, there's like the three things. If you give them stars, if you subscribe, and you leave a written comment, that boosts you higher in the rankings or whatever. But I don't know the Android equivalent to that. So
yeah,
we've talked about it. But yeah, if you guys could do that, we would really appreciate it. We are working on a few T-shirts too that we're gonna put in the store.
We've got a new logo that hopefully we'll be able to put on the live stream next podcast.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you can't put a picture on there. That's kind of annoying.
It's all right.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Did you end it? You have to end it. Producer Ben.
Well, I thought people would just want to sit here and watch us do a fact check.
Yeah, maybe.